Peace and blessings be upon everyone. This is episode 004 of the Caliph podcast, and I am here with this lady. She's into entrepreneurship. She's an entrepreneur, active investor, right? And I'm super excited because I'm into entrepreneurship as well. And why not you tell more about yourself, what you do, to those who don't know you?
Great question. So, hi everybody. Thank you for having me here. My name is Leza Klenk. So, I'm a mother of three. At the same time, when I started my business as well, and I'm basically an entrepreneur that runs a global tech company. So, my company is a global tech. We own mobile ads, we own e-commerce platform, ad tech as well. And we invest in many small businesses that contribute to our ecosystem. So in short, basically we are built by a manpower of 60 people full time, and more than 10,000 people on our network alone, stretched over 19 countries. We're headquartered in Singapore and we built from Singapore, so we're very excited that an opportunity like this can exist where entrepreneurs here can grow globally. At the same time, I'm also raising my children, so I'm doing a lot of homeschooling for the past few years. And basically that's it. So now I do a lot of time lecturing. So I also do guest lecture in more than 40 universities so far.
Yes, you are also a speaker, right?
I'm an international sought-after speaker. So I travel every other month just to speak in large business summits.
Yeah.
And the topics that I talk about is interesting. Usually trade, equity, financing, investment, ecosystem. And lastly, I actually write books as well. So I release 4 private business books. So I'm looking to write more to contribute my knowledge to a lot more people. Yeah.
Then you also won a few awards, right? Can you share with us what awards?
That's true. 2 of the most significant awards that I remember is when I was 28, I won the Singapore Youngest Business Guru Award. That is actually an entrance gateway for me to start talking at universities. And at the same time, later on this year, after so much work of building companies globally, I got the award for Asia's Greatest CEO in 2019. So 2018, apparently I did a good job being a CEO. So they gave it to me. Even I was surprised.
How do they measure in terms of CEO?
They don't disclose you the measure, but usually this company Asia One, they partner with URS, which is an international research company. So you get nominated one way or another. Someone has nominated you, and then they do the performance analysis by asking questions about your business. They analyze your valuation standing, your company shareholders, your company growth, scalability, and progress the last many years. So then measure the people performance analysis. From that, they conclude that you substantially could win this award, and on the day you come, you won the award.
So you won on this year, 2019?
Yes, January 2019. So it's a great news after you come back and start the year. You go, oh my god, another year, a lot of work, and then they call you and say, okay, that's not bad. That's
like you start a year with a bang. So your company is SC Beauty Networks. That's the one?
No, our company is called Spendless. So SC is right, but SC is short for Spendless Cosmetics.
I see, alright.
So Spendless Group is breakdown into many different verticals.
Alright.
So Spendless Group contains Spendless Cosmetics, which is an e-commerce platform. Spendless Academy, which is an educational platform. It also has Spendless Creative, which is the creative agency. It owns Baby Bargains, Baby Good Marketplace app. And then there's all many small business and projects that we invest in. So they all belong to one ecosystem of Spendless. So I'm the CEO.
Alright.
And there's 4 other C-levels. So the CTO, COO, CMO, CSO, which I just hired. So they're all based in Singapore.
I see. Alright. So before we dive into that, right?
Yes.
I want to know more about yourself before your entrepreneurship journey, and what made you venture into entrepreneurship, and who are you basically before entrepreneurship?
I'm a different person. I look the same. My hair hasn't changed for 10 years, so you can still recognize me. But I'm a different person. When I say that, not in terms of character, but in terms of mindset. So when I was 20...
I heard that I read about you that you are married when you're 20 years old.
Yes.
That's very young.
That's very young.
Okay, can you speak more on that?
Now I'm giving people advice, don't marry until you're 25. I'm telling my daughter, don't think about that, okay? Travel the world, okay? But
so what happened at that time? And
no, actually, okay, so my family is not very rich. So even though I got O-level as good results, I got a scholarship which I turned down because I don't want to sign on to be a teacher in Singapore. At the moment, I don't know what I want to do then. So I went to JC, and my parents couldn't afford to send me to school. So I was working as a
Oh, okay.
So as in, they don't want to pay for my school at first because I reject the scholarship.
Okay.
So later on, even if I made it to the uni, my parents won't be able to afford it. So I decided to sell bubble tea after school every day for $4.50 an hour when I was 17 for 2 years. And I realized that because I sell every day, I cannot wake up for lecture the next day.
Alright.
So obviously this doesn't come back to me at the end of the year. I didn't do well, so I dropped out before I finished my A-levels.
Okay, in JC.
In JC. So I went to work as a retail assistant. I earned $1,000 a month until at some point I started an office job. And during that time, I met my husband then. So I decided to get married at 20 so that I can live in Australia and stuff like that. So what happened is I was a stay-home mom for a period of 7 years. And what I didn't realize is when you marry early, you don't have any substantial asset. That means that you will struggle financially as a young couple trying to build a family. What more stressful, you got 3 children to feed. So I realized that if we're always struggling every month and we don't change our financial income, something worse is going to happen. We're going to be in a debt. We're going to own our own house. We're going to rent forever. So at some point after 7 years of staying at home,
so then
I wake up one day and I said, I'm going to change my family income. And that time, my first husband, he was working as an MOE teacher.
So you're based in Singapore?
That time we already got back to Singapore.
Alright.
Okay, so we were in Australia 3 years, Singapore, KL, then back to Singapore. So I told him that I'm going to do business as a stay-home mom, okay, of 7 years without degree. Okay? I'm going to I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do business.
Okay.
So I told him, you need to quit your job because someone's going to look after my kids.
Wow.
Because I will not trust a babysitter.
That's bold.
And the next day he quit his job.
Really?
Yes, the next day. This guy, without a doubt, resigned the next day. And he was like, oh, my contract is over anyway, so... And he became a stay-home dad. Yeah. And he became a stay-home dad, and now I'm like scratching my head. Okay, what did I just say yesterday? I was sober when I said that, but I didn't have enough savings. How the hell do I do business? So it's out of desperation anyway. So and that's when I decided to pave my way anyway. It is a lot of struggle, but if you have a mission, a goal, especially if you want to create a better life for your family, you find ways for every problem that's about to come, and you embrace challenges because you know it's going to make a better person out of you. So that's what I did, and I thought at first business is going to be only for 2 years. So I thought, okay, kids get older, they go to childcare, we both go back to work. And then after 2 years, I did well, so it became 5 years of him staying home. And after 5 years, I at that time, the business went through a nosedive and then it went back up again. So I raised a substantial investment capital. So I recruited him into the business. So now he's part of the business and the children as well. Of course, we co-parent together.
I see.
So, but I basically came from a mindset of no business acumen. No bachelor degree, no network, no corporate experience, and I still can make it in 8 years. That for me is an indication that no matter where you come from, don't talk about what privilege you have because you can set your own privilege. So that's how.
Wow. That's just, so was the first business the same one?
No.
So it changed. So how many businesses have you?
I still own most of the business that I started. Okay, but my first business, imagine, okay, you don't have business acumen, right? So you go for the most simplest stuff to do,
because you said that after 2 years you did well. So very rarely people do well in business for the first 2 years and stuff like that. You said you did well, and then after that you, so I want to know what.
Okay, I was thinking of a business. I'm like, what? I cannot cook, lousy. I cannot babysit. I don't know business, corporate. I don't know where to find suppliers. So I thought, I'm going to sell hair clips, okay? And I tell people, because people say, are you crazy? China produced hair clips for children for 30 cents, okay? And you're going to sell for how much? So I said, I'm going to make hair clips. So I went on YouTube every day and I learned how people do it on the internet. I bought my ribbons and I start to make my own handmade hair clips for baby girls, especially those without hair. So my daughter had no hair that time. People thought she was handsome. I was offended. So I thought I'm going to create it for her. So I let her wear and then I put it on social media and people start asking me, where do you buy it? So I said, I made it. And they said, why did you sell it to me? I say, okay, $10. I don't even know what to quote. I thought it's easy to just charge one bill, right? So people start ordering and I thought, wait a minute, this could be a real business. So I started to do more and more people buy. Until one day I get a call for an opportunity to serve in a department store. And ever since that, in 2 years, the business started at home. The homegrown brand outgrew a home. So it went on to serve 54 department stores, including John Little, Toys R Us, OG, Metro Jaya, Parks. Just by heycaliph. Okay? And I start to get my first 4 employees, and by the end of 2 years, I raised more capital investment to do other kind of businesses. So the business may be simple to a lot of people, and actually the best business ideas are the simplest one to execute. The more complicated you try to make, the harder it is for you to keep on track. Because eventually the business will have employees, but you need to know what everybody is doing. Like it's really complicated in your care, it will be complicated when 10 people manage the same thing. So I made an easy idea becomes a global idea. So that was my first business venture, and I start to become, of course I still my MD managing director, and then I start to learn leadership, and I became an investor because of the money capital I earned and I raised.
I see. Okay, so and then after a few businesses, then that's when Splendors.
Yes. Okay. So the few businesses that after that, okay, so I'm a little bit crazy, okay, because I do things that people don't usually do in business. So one day I decided to suddenly open a baking studio. I have no idea how to bake until today, absolutely no idea. But I thought that the market needed it. Okay, there's a lot of bakers, right? And they cannot bake a lot because they don't have the facility. They cannot bake on one oven at home. So we opened up this commercial studio with 4 ovens, 4 industrial mixtures and everything. People can run classes, people can be creative, people can bake for massive orders. And then we rent it out, of course, by the hour. So I raised capital investment at that time, about $75,000, and I built this kitchen studio, and I had it for 3 years, and then I sell it off. So that's one of the business I did. I did art schools, training, tuition. So I did all these businesses at the same time. I ran the first business still. Baby Boss was the first company. Then later on, I went into tech only in 2016. 2014. So I sold everything.
Just to focus on that.
Again, I told you I was crazy, right? Exactly. That's how crazy it is. So I sold everything.
Wow. All right.
To give to a tech company because brick and mortar is tiring. Okay, so it's people, it's lease, it's liabilities. So I read up a lot of tech companies and how they do it. I studied them, and I realized, hey, if people can make it in tech, so can I. I always think I can make it. That's the thing about me, overconfident. And then so I sold everything, wrap up everything, and then I went on to invest in tech. Suffered for 18 months because obviously tech company burns money first. Technology, prototype, everything first. So I went broke after 18 months. Completely broke, and then I raised more money, and that's when I globalized it the last 3 years.
So the company is in like they lose money, but then they pick up.
I'm going to put it in very simple words. The company went bankrupt. Okay. It went bankrupt in 2014.
Okay.
But this is before Splendors was born.
All right.
It went bankrupt because, like I said, you have 5 brick and mortar business. You have 19 employees. You cannot monitor 24/7. And some people in the company has authority to spend the company capital. Because of that, people misuse capital. People plan without giving returns. And I'm not pointing fingers. It's part of business. And also leadership makes people not feel belong and perform for the business. At the end of the day, the investors' money doesn't bring returns. So end of the year, we are in trouble with investors, capital funding, and of course accumulated debt from the open leases. So at the end of it, we have to suffer. I think after they seize my asset, probably at least another 300,000 of open debts that the company cannot recover in financial year 2014. We try to negotiate with investors, but they don't give us any more time because they have been influenced by other people about the business negatively. So because of that, we wrap up the year with bankruptcy, and I lost everything that I built.
You invested in them, or were you part of them?
No, the companies were invested by investors. So investors pump the money.
So you are one of the investors.
I'm the owner.
Oh, you're the owner of the company.
Of the company.
Of the tech company. Okay, got it.
So I own. So before the tech, I own all the baking studio and everything. I own everything. And then we had to sell off everything to cover back our investment losses. And still, we had extra we couldn't cover. That was what drive us to bankruptcy. If we could have covered all, zero, no more debt, it's fine. But we had still 300,000, so we were losing more than what we were gaining from my business.
So it was like this,
Like
and
this,
then drop down,
and
straight down.
at that time, when I first got married, I lived in a 1-bedroom house.
Okay.
As in 1 bedroom in a house.
Yeah.
So that's how poor we were. Yes.
In Australia.
In Australia. And then when I run the business at its peak, I bought apartments and I end up living in a 6,000 square feet penthouse.
Wow.
That's how well the business took me.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I lost it all again
Okay.
because of bankruptcy. And even my apartment here, I have to lease it out. My family was living on $200 a week. And we're a family of 5. Okay, so you know how little that is. So we cut back on so many things and suffered because of the business and because of the people we hire throughout the business. So that's what people don't understand. When you work for an entrepreneur, the liability on an entrepreneur is so much bigger than an employee. When they leave, they move on, but the owner suffers. So we paid the price in 2015. And then at 2015, I came home. I remember it when I was bankrupt in December. And my mother asked me the first question, of course. She's going to ask me, so what are you going to do now? Okay? And knowing me, my mother knows me so well, of course my answer is, I'm going to build another business. And Mama goes, did you not just understand the lesson of the I say, it's even better that I lost a lot, because then that means the lessons are bigger. I will learn the lessons, and then I will do my next venture carefully. And I won't fail again. Nobody purposely drive their business into bankruptcy. You must remember that. We have so much love for the thing we do, that the thing that brings us to losses are things that's beyond our control. Like human, like investment, we cannot see return. Nothing is guaranteed in business. So we paid the price, and I told my mother, this time I'm going to build more safety nets, and my new business venture, it's going to thrive because of the lessons I learned during bankruptcy.
Nice.
Didn't give up for 18 months, stubborn as hell. My mother gave up on me at some point. 18 months, didn't make money. You know, they do a business now, I'm going to do tech, 18 months, absolutely no money, owing my mother money, had to rent out my HDB. So in the end, I'm asking myself every day for 18 months, why am I still here? Why am I still waking up?
Was that the lowest point of your
That
life?
was 2015 was the worst year in my life.
So you are bankrupt, and then you go 2 years without any profit and borrowing people.
Yes, 18 months. Of course, there's always an option. If you want to eat and live by, is to work 8 hours a day for someone else. But an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur, okay? So I've seen how well this business feed me. I do not believe that it will not be able to take me up again. I don't believe that. So the journey is very emotional for me. So I told people for 18 months, and at first people believe you, okay, maybe you're going to be fine. After 18 months, nobody believes you anymore. You still don't have money. You're still nobody. Nobody's investing in you. Your business is still nothing. And my mother is asking me this question, why are you still building this platform? And this platform, I tell you a little bit, okay, Cairo, this platform is a very smart platform. Okay, and I tell you why, because it brings meanings to people's life. You, say a stay-home mom in Indonesia, needs to earn money for your family. $100 may be small to a lot of people. $100 could mean everything to you. It gives you a shelter, it gives you a roof over your head, pay for your kids' meal, or send them to the hospital if they are sick. So $100 mean a lot to you. But you don't know where to start doing business or going out to work because you got children. So my platform is very simple. You go to my website, you sign up, and in 30 seconds, you're given an entire website that belongs to you. So now you are a beauty entrepreneur. You have a website, you have inventory, you have a whole system including the payment gateway to take orders. All you need to do is post on social media. And any commission that you earn, the business ships direct to the customer, so you never leave home. So you're just banking commission after commission after commission by owning your own business. So our business mission is to make as many women financially independent. Because we believe when women are happy, they raise happier households and they raise happier children. Okay, so our mission is 100 years forward. So when I had that mission, I refused to believe anybody tell me it's nothing but a piece of crap. So I told my mother one day, this is going to go global. Today, it is still in my room, in my computer. But one day, the world is going to thank me and say, because of you, I can pay my bills, clear my debt, raise my children, and be happy. And that's where we are now, 3 years down the line. So 18 months, absolutely nothing. I owe my mother so much money, and I thought, I'll never get away with this time. This is worse than bankruptcy. This is like a dungeon you can never get out of. But I believe rezeki is in the hands of Allah. So it doesn't matter, as long as you show effort, the opportunity will come, and it will come so large. The more you suffer, the larger the rewards is going to come. And it's all a test of nothing but patience, okay, and strong belief. So I believe in myself even when nobody else does, and that is entrepreneur. Okay, you're always going against the current. People call you delusional, but if you believe what they say, then they are right. So 18 months later, I was found by a family office who funded $500,000. So that changed the game entirely. So that's where we are. Of course, we raised multiple fundings after that. We continue to grow the business. We invest money to make business. So, and I won't fail as I did the last time. Why? Because I learned the lesson from the last time. I'm happy bankruptcy happened. So that's how we got here globally, because we know how to sustain our business and we have the capital and people who believed in us. There will always be more people who don't believe in you than the people who do. But just because you come across with people who don't believe in you first, doesn't mean you won't come to the time when you meet someone who do. And all you need is one person. One person with the capital funding, with the belief, with the power, with the authority, with the opportunity. That one person you need to find. And you might have to knock on 100 doors before you find this person. At first you hated it, but when you find this one person, you go, that was worth it. If it's going to take me 18 months of losses and bankruptcy to get to $500,000 capital funding, I'll do it again. That's how I tell myself.
Nice. Okay, I just want to ask about your product, right? So it's a beauty product. So
it's a platform.
A platform.
So it's not a physical product.
Oh, okay.
It's a platform.
That sells beauty products?
It's a website, so which means that we don't give it sells beauty product, but the product is controlled by the supplier themselves. So they set the pricing, they list the product. So when they will get an order, they will ship it direct to the customer. Our company is just the medium.
I see. So how do you choose what product? And how do you believe that product can work and stuff like that?
Usually it's the brands you know. So L'Oreal, Maybelline, all the common drugstore commercial products is already there.
Okay.
And then a small percentage will be to local product, because we support local.
Okay.
So local business own product. So Indonesia local product is on the Indonesia platform. Thailand is on Thailand platform. And lastly, a small percentage is house brand. So we develop now this year our own product. So if you sell our product, your commission is higher. You sell L'Oreal, not so much, 10%, but still commission.
So it's a mixture of many product brands.
120 brands globally. Yes, and it's different for every country, because like Turkey, Middle East, they have different brands. So it matches. We have to do research for every country. So once we understand the local consumer market preference, as well as the trending price that people are willing to pay, that's when we set the inventory. There's a scientific research behind it. That's my COO does, not me.
Okay. Why beauty products? You can sell of any industries, right? Like any products. So why beauty for you?
Well, as common knowledge, we know that women has the highest, strongest influential in purchasing power. Simple as that. Women, as soon as they have money, whether it's theirs, their husbands or whatever, they have a tendency to spend. If it's not for themselves, it's for their children. So mothers and women generally are the biggest market. So if you want to penetrate and win the most market faster, you target on the things that people are always looking to spend, which is investing to be vain and beautify themselves. So as a woman, from my experience, he would understand that. As a woman, whether we're employed or not employed, we're constantly going for interviews, we're on a date, we're trying to secure a relationship, we have a marriage, we need to look after our children. All this come into play that we need to look pretty. Most of the times we don't, that's why we need makeup. So therefore, beauty is an investment. Every woman you ask an interview will tell you they must have spent at least something on one beauty product, whether it's skincare, hair care, massage oil, anything. Okay, makeup, lipstick. They would have at least one lipstick in their home, whether they often use it or not. So the spending power is undeniable. So the more you tap that, then the more that you will win faster. Of course, if you sell stuff like wheelchair, a tie, guys don't really spend. So you know that this is going to go slower. Who wants to be a reseller of this kind of product? I want to be a reseller of trending makeup product that I can sell easily to my network of friends who needs it every other day. There is no woman who says she has enough of lipsticks. I can guarantee you that.
How do you know about, do you figure that out yourself about makeups and everything? Now, or do you, because of your failures and stuff, that you realize that, oh wait, this is actually
one thing that I must emphasize in business, right? A lot of things is never as according to what you plan. Honestly, right, this business idea, believe it or not, is always an opportunity that exists already. Okay, so what happened is I don't have enough money to feed my children. So I use $100 and I buy a box of makeup from United States. They are cheaper there. Maybelline is cheaper there because it's $3.99 retail shop. Here's $20 at Watson's. So, but people need to buy anyway. So I import it wholesale, say $1 for mascara, and then I sell to my family for $10, which is cheaper than if they buy Watson's. And this is even better. This is not made in China, made in USA. So I just need to pay for the freight, but I calculate my quantity, it's still reasonable. So when I start selling, people snap up makeup product really quickly. So I studied that analysis. Then I realized that if people are willing to spend at least $50, my close friends and family, willing to buy makeup from me because they want to support my business. So in the end, I decided to commercialize it by actually making it obviously tech supported. So that's how the business became tech supported, because I want the same model to apply to every single woman. Instead of them looking for suppliers, they don't have to now. Build their own website, they don't have to now. Take transactions, they don't have to now. We do everything for them. So based on my personal experience trying to earn extra money for my children, I'm trying to make it possible for every other mother I know.
So you figure it out yourself.
Yes, I did. You can have a simple idea, but the question is, as an entrepreneur, it is your job to create a solution that will better enhance that idea to another level. Because if you're expecting an idea to be given to you on a silver platter, there is nothing. You need to find gaps of the things around you, which means being fully aware of the problems that people are facing and find that solution for them and for you. And once you match that, when people appreciate the solution you give them, you bring meaning to their life, you impact them in some way or another, whether their income or whether their feelings, whatever, they will always keep you lingering in their network. And that's how your business sustains itself, because people choose to keep you in their life.
And that's why you're the top CEO for 2019.
I hope that's the reason why. It's all about winning people on a daily basis. That's, to be honest, if you cannot win any human being, no one's going to vote you as the top CEO.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so of all the failures, right, that you, or you go through and stuff like that, who's your best teacher or coach, and why?
Okay, if you're not talking about person, honestly, I have this quote I always tell people, okay? Life is always your best teacher, because life is the only teacher that gives you the lessons, and so you experience first, lessons later. So, but in personal thought, right, actually, if you're talking about mentor, I don't believe in exclusive mentorship, because for me, when people are seeking for mentor, they are fragile, vulnerable. They're open themselves to absorbing knowledge. But if you let one person guide you, then you're going in one way. But if you have multiple mentors, your job is not supposed to follow everything they say, but to take their accounts and perspective, okay, into yours and decide what's best for you. Tweak it, apply it, personalize it. So you act based on your own conscience, based on knowledge foundation you gain from people. So to me, my mentor is everybody. And my best mentors are random people I meet on a random day in a random conversation. So every conversation has value. You need to find it. Same way we're having right now. There's something I learned from you as you do from me. I go back, I think about it, do research about it, then I apply. That's how my life can change. So for me, if you are looking for a mentor, don't worry about paying someone, especially if you can afford it. Go out there, interact, hear stories, and then read articles. All this thing contributes to a different knowledge level, and eventually you will use that to your benefit the moment you're smart enough knowing how to utilize knowledge. Knowledge is power, always will be.
Nice. Okay. So next question I want to ask is, I'm very interested in homeschool. Yeah, especially for your kids. Why homeschool, and how do you do it?
Okay, that's not a common option for most people, right? So I decided to homeschool very, very early when I had my first child, for two reasons. Okay, number one reason, which doesn't usually happen. So I actually have 4 children. My first one died. So because of that death, I bonded very closely automatically with my other 3 children. Subconsciously, as a parent, you know how fragile life is. So you bond not to want to lose them to any teacher. Okay? You want them to be at home all the time.
So was he in delivery?
No, stillbirth.
Oh, okay.
At birth. Okay. So at full time he passed away. So I realized, and for no good reason. So I realized how fragile life is. So the other 3 children, of course, you become naturally more protective, okay, more careful and stuff like that. So what's one of the reasons why I like to keep my children close to me? Secondly, in terms of homeschooling, also because we relocate. As an international business, we can be based in any country, anywhere. We were in Australia for 3 years, we were in KL for 2 years, we were in Singapore, and now potentially going to Bavaria, Germany. So because of this relocation, we don't want the kids to settle in an environment that then we suddenly have to pull them out of, because that's emotionally disturbing homeschooling for the child. So we might as well keep them homeschooled and move every 2 years as we please. And the other thing about homeschooling is also because we wanted to plan their curriculum. Not to say that there's anything wrong with the government curriculum, but we wanted to include skills that the kid might need 10 years from now. That's the thing, okay? So you need stuff like coding should be a basic skill 10 years from now. Designing should be a basic skill. So these skills are not in the school curriculum at the moment, and something that we purposely include in our curriculum to make sure that they're well equipped for the ever-changing era of technology.
How do you instill that in your children now? How do you find the staffs, to teach them, like the resources to teach them and everything?
So we split this between the two parents. So it's best not to have somebody interfere in the same aspect. So for example, he in charge of academics. So academics is under his care to make sure that they follow the curriculum standard for their age. And they're actually right now at least 1 or 2 grade higher because they're homeschooled. And for my aspect, I'm responsible for example, social interaction, social work contribution, also business and entrepreneurship ventures. So also cultural indifferences. So those are the things that my children get to enjoy with me, which means they include traveling. So they get to travel with me, understand different culture, pick up a different language, stuff like that. They also start business. So at certain age, past 10 years old, they're allowed to start their own business. So I usually would rent a space in a shop and they can park their products and learn how to take care of their product. Visual merchandising, quantity stock inventory, pricing and everything. So they have exposure of entrepreneurship very early in life. And of course social work, as far as we can get them involved so that they can see different aspects of living to be more sensible to humanity. So these are both not just academic development but personal development as a social character.
So you focus them, so you teach them to get ready for the necessary exams, like PSLE or
that's
stuff like
the only
that.
exam that you need to worry about is PSLE, O levels and N levels. I mean A levels. So not that every year they have to sit for an exam. So homeschooling only prepares them for the major exam when they are ready to sit for it. Sometimes it could be earlier. So instead of 16-year-olds sitting for O levels, they could be sitting O levels at 14. So we follow the advance of their age. In Singapore, actually, you are not allowed to sit anything below 16 years old for O levels. But there's always an option externally outside Singapore because Cambridge franchise the university.
So your child takes exam not in Singapore?
It depends. O levels and A levels probably not in Singapore if they continue on the path of homeschooling. But if they convert back to school, because for me, I give the children an option. At one point, if they express interest and desire to be in a school environment, the option is given to them, so they can integrate back into school.
How about the difference between like a kid who is in school and homeschool, right? They usually are lack of friends. How do you tackle that?
In terms of social interaction, it becomes your additional responsibility to create an environment where they get to interact. So whether it's playing in a playground, organizing play dates, send them to a boxing class, go for external art classes, you must give them this level of social interaction that's enough for them. Okay, so if we don't do that and expect them to grow themselves at home within the 4 walls, then they're going to be lack of social interaction, which is going to penalize them in the future for any opportunities.
So how do you balance yourself with your work, entrepreneurship, your business, and your child, all of that? How? I'm curious about that.
I'm a believer of structures. Okay, so a few tips that I'm going to give. Number 1 is always have a structure to how you organize things. When I say structure, it doesn't mean it is rigid. For example, if you want to get from A to B in business or in personal whatever, be open-minded still to change the pathway how you get there, but don't miss on the goal of where you're going to go and within what time. So if you plan to get here by the end of this time, you have to stay focused on it. Having a structure makes things more efficient. So for example, when you have an employee, right? If you're going to monitor people by time, it is very draining. So you monitor people by performance. So whether they work or don't work, whether they report to work or not, at the end of the day, it's effective because their exact results measures the investment of them in the first place. So these are examples of structure. So once you have a structure in place from the beginning for any business project or ventures or people management, then your job gets easier. You don't need 8 hours anymore. You need much lesser than that. So structure is obviously 1. Number 2 is networking. Networking is a skill I encourage people to interact with people because at the end of the day, if you want any transaction to have place, it's always a decision between 2 people collectively wants to work together. People assume that if you want to get sales for your business, example, you have to go around and knock doors and do cold pitches. But that is time consuming. So look for shortcuts that make sense. You interact with people, build a friendship one day, find a synergy to work together. So things happen faster in terms of generating revenue. Because of that, I don't need to be in an office 60 hours a week. I just need to make one phone call and I close a contract. So it's easier for me. In terms of children, I get them involved to as many things as what I do because they're flexible with time. If I decided to do social work today for my company, I take them along. I need to travel for work, I take them along. So actually, I don't need to go extra length to make sure I create an environment for them. The environment for them is the exact environment I'm living in right now. So I just don't cut them off, I include them in. So it makes it easier for me. And lastly, outsource. What most women don't understand, especially doing business, they have to do everything. They're superwoman, right? I have to do the dishes and I have to look after the children. Why put unnecessary responsibilities for you? If you focus in business and you make a lot of money, just pay helpers. Just get somebody to come, clean your house, do the dishes. I don't do dishes. I don't fold clothes. I don't do this stuff because I outsource. Same thing with design. If I cannot design my own work, I'm not going to spend 3 months studying design. I'm just going to outsource it. So I focus on business growth and development so I have enough money to reinvest in expertise. So once you work this out, what you don't need, you outsource. You're never tired. So which means the best hours of the days goes into only productive things, doing the things you love or generate you some sort of satisfaction or money. That's all that's important.
Nice. 4 big pointers there.
Yeah, 4 big pointers.
Next, I want to talk about you as an international speaker, right? Were you this fluent before you're speaking?
No.
Like how? I want to imagine how you were before you're speaking to how you get to where you are right now.
Yes, okay. If you Google my name, there's a lot of social assets, okay? There's videos of me talking, whatever, media articles. Honestly, 10 years ago, I'm a person who doesn't even dare to take selfie because I'm worried about the judgment of people. And who do you think I am? Nobody. So in the first beginning, when I try to take my selfie, it's so awkward. Even I want to announce a lucky draw for my company, I'm so shy to be on a 30 minutes video. My language is not very good at the moment, at that time. But that's what traveling does to me. It makes us learn from the people we spoke to. And so if we stay within the same circle of people who has poor English, we will always be speaking poor English. But if we're around people who speak better English than us, it becomes natural that we pick up the things that they influence us subconsciously. And I'm very bad in writing as well. So if you follow my articles, technically I have no capability to write as such. But writing is a way of conveying message, is the most important attribute every person has to say. Because what you have could be interesting, but if you convey me wrongly, I won't understand. I cannot give you the opportunity in business. So because I realized that, I improve in my writing. So I purposely hundreds and hundreds of blogs. I purposely write it just because I improved in my writing over the last 10 years.
So you just write and keep writing.
And keep writing. So in terms of language as well, right? I improve. That's the thing. If you're not good at something, you can only improve by doing more, not less. So people, I'm not good in speaking, so I will reject every speaking opportunity. I don't reject every speaking opportunity because that's my opportunity to get a level higher. If you train yourself, you will be lenient to yourself. But if you force yourself in an environment that you have to now perform on stage, people are going to talk about you. So you know that you have to raise the standard higher, the bar higher. So naturally, you get better and better. The good thing about knowledge and intelligence is if you get to the next level, it's not possible to become stupid again. And that's the thing. So you can only go up and not go down. So that's the thing that stays with you as well. So I improve by giving myself exposure into uncomfortable situation. Force myself to accept things I've never done before, just so that I can raise myself to the next level.
So have you ever speak in an event where you started or you get nervous or you blank? Or
Actually, I know I will. So purposely, right? In the last 2 years, I spoke at 40 international conferences and universities, from a crowd of 100 to 1,000, and sometimes the crowd is 500 top C-level. So they're highly intelligent MNCs, so they need to hear very good content. So when I know in the beginning that I started business, I know that this is a great portfolio for me, but I cannot speak so well. So what I did was, of course, I gathered my friends first lah. So I do small business gathering about mompreneurs, and I gather small business owners to come because the standard is not so high yet, because of their capacity industry. So I practice from there. Okay, and then slowly I take a crowd of 50. Slowly I take this, slowly I take that. So eventually I got to a level where I'm so good that the university starts calling me, I take the challenge anyway and perform even better. So and then
So what advice would you give for those who are introverts or who are scared of speaking who wants to get invited to these kind of events? Like what are the advice would you give them?
Okay, firstly, you must understand how introverts and extroverts work. Okay, most people think that introverts are people who cannot talk. They can. Introverts are just people who like meaningful talks instead of general chit chats. And introverts recharge themselves differently. I am an introvert. I struggle actually in the presence of a lot of people, but I thrive in meaningful short conversations like this. So introvert, right? If you want to make it in a potential stage presence, you have to be comfortable in it. This is what happened to me when I started, because I get panic anxiety when there's too many people. So I only come and talk, and when I'm done, I leave. Okay, I'm not ready for socialization, so I don't force myself there. So eventually I get used to it, and then I will improve from there. Now, if you want to get a speaking opportunity, it's not about whether you're introvert or extrovert. It's whether you've got good value and a good way of sending that message across. So I did by actually sharing snippets of how I talk. So because of that, I put it on social media. Then people realize that this girl has got content. She has got capability to speak. So they imagine that if my audience listened to her, they would be blown away. So that's how I got the invitation over. And every time you speak at an event, it matters that you perform your best. Even if it's 20 minutes on stage, you must know enough product knowledge to share, plus a good way and creative style of delivering it. You must be unique and better than every other speakers on stage that day. If you give your best, people can see that. If you share your story, people can taste your passion. And when they do, they get recommended, you get recommended the next event, and it flows from there. So I never go to university and say, hey, will you please have me as a speaker? I never. All I do is wait. And when I do this, people keep on calling and referring me, and just make sure I do my best. That's it.
Okay, nice. How important is social media?
Social media is half important. It's important, but not everything. Remember that in social media, it is just a gateway for you to interact with a larger pool of potential people. But not everybody is relevant to you. Not 10,000 followers is going to be monetizing you. It's not. It's basically having attraction to a certain pool of people in order to tap into deeper connections. But to close any transaction, social media is not the way, because genuine relationship can make transaction happen. If I'm going to invest 10,000 in you, it better be because I know you. It's not because I follow you. Okay, so there's a difference. So when I say social media is important for branding awareness, yes. But if you want to do bigger deals, whether signing contracts, sign up a wholesaler, find an investor, take it offline. Born naturally. So when it's a win-win for two, magic happens. If it's a win for one, nothing will. So then you go on to find another person. So if a business owner is relying 100% on social media, your business is only for short term. Long term is not sustainable. Because business can only last long term because there are strong relationships that actually sustain this business for the owner. So and they're not followers, they're investors. So these people need to know you. But social media, if you don't have it, for example, you can explore that channel as an additional sales strategy. But anything can happen to Facebook tomorrow.
True.
The same thing it starts in our life, the same thing is taken away from our lives. So if you want to have Facebook as one of your channel, let it be one option, but not the entire option. What I did was, as soon as I have enough followers, what happened is, Cairo, I categorize and profile my followers, then I park them elsewhere. I park them on Telegram chat, I park them on email, I park them on email newsletter. So based on what kind of information and how much information they want. So those who want to talk about personal branding every day, I park them in the Telegram chat and we talk about personal branding every day. And those who like, okay, I like Leza, some of your update once a week. That I park them on email newsletter that send them once a week. So that way they don't leave because I don't annoy them, because I give them my branding as per their choice. So and then if anything happened to Facebook, my business will run because my reseller sits on my own database. My network actually communicate with me daily on Telegram, and my other external network is sitting on my email newsletter that get my daily updates. So if Facebook shuts down tomorrow, it doesn't affect my business.
Nice. Wow, okay. What are your goals 5, 10 years, 20 years down the road?
Retire. That's
Retire
of course. Actually, I have this concept, okay, that I think a lot of people are not ready to accept it. Although we live from the age of 0 to 80 years, potentially now lifespan is up to 80 years. So 80 years, that's why retirement is now 65. Okay, so you live 80 years, honestly, your prime years are only 10 years. It will happen between either you're 25 to 35, 30 to 40, 28 to 38. That's for you to discover because it's different for different people. But this is the 10 prime years that you will be at your peak in terms of energy, in terms of passion, in terms of commitment. This is the time where it's the best to monetize yourself. So if you give this best 10 years, the best of you, you will earn enough profit to retire subsequent years after. My prime years is 28 to 38. I'm coming to the end of my prime years. That's why I built so much in these 10 years because I have the most energy. Past 38, I'm not working. Most likely the business will be taken care of by someone else, or I will develop my business to another channel, so a different kind of challenge, or I will sell it for completely buyout. Whatever it is, I don't know. By the end of it, it will come to some point that my energy is not at peak anymore. And that time, we start to think of other things, our family, our commitment, our relationship, our memories, our travel opportunities. That will come into play at another phase of our lives. So all our lives have phase. The question is, if you're already in your prime zone, how are you going to make the full use of it? That is the question. So for me, the past 38, I remarried last year. So most likely I love children. So I'm going back into motherhood. So I will have a new set of children. So that's like probably 3, 4, 5, 6 kids in total, and live my life, travel as I want, park my investments, have shares in companies that thrive, and educate people and still do what I like, writing, blogging, traveling.
Do you want your kids to be in the entrepreneurship journey as you?
No.
Why?
Entrepreneurship is harsh.
It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, and don't take it offensively. Okay, if somebody tells you that you're not meant for entrepreneurship, it means you're not meant to run your own company. You still can thrive in other capacities. So you could be in a corporate in the MNCs. And also entrepreneurship is not about having a company or not. Entrepreneurship is a mindset. A mindset that is creative beyond solutions, a mindset that go beyond than what is a natural job scope, a mindset that is always looking positive. So this is a mindset that applies to every kind of industry. Whether you're teaching, whether you're corporate, whether you're entrepreneurship and self-employed, it doesn't matter. So that entrepreneurship mindset, I want my children to have. Whether they run their own company or not, or they give all of them to a company that they love so much, working for someone else, it's their choice. Whether they become, I asked my daughter what's her ambition, and she says a YouTuber. Animator or YouTuber, okay? So my daughter, and I like it because you can be creative the way you want it for as long as you want, and you are happy as long as you're happy. So entrepreneurship, if my children would like to take it up, I'm happy for them. But I don't see that capabilities in them at the moment, at this age. And it's a very rough journey based on what you want to set up. Okay, people are confused with entrepreneurship. People think that when I run a business online, home-based, that's entrepreneurship. It's not. Entrepreneurship scalability is very high, risk is very high, liability is very high. If you're earning an income from home at $30,000 and below, even no tax in Singapore below 28K, that's not really entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship means you progress year by year. This year you earn 30K, second year you earn 300K, third year you earn. How are you going to get there? That's how you're going to plan everything else in momentum. That is entrepreneurs. So people who are entrepreneurs will never give up in business because there's nothing else they know of doing. There's no plan B. There's no going back to work. There's no getting another 5K job elsewhere. There is no choice because they eliminate that choice. All they do is create jobs for people and they continue to build companies. So that's what I feel, that my children may not have that potential because the weight that it carries with their responsibility is heavy. And for me, I don't mind doing it because I'm already in this game. But for my children, I told them very simple. You build the business now, you earn enough money, own your own home at 18, travel the world for 5 years and see what you want to do after that. Live your life. That's what I would say because life is too short, as I said.
Yes, that's right.
Only 10 prime years.
If you're not into entrepreneurship, right, what would you do? What would you think you would do?
I think that if I was in entrepreneurship in the beginning because of money issues, right? So let's say I don't have
what would
these
you
money
think
issues.
that you will be into?
I'm a full-time parent. All day I'm like organizing my children, plan their activity. I find enjoyment in motherhood. Okay, and to me, women who are successful, good for you. But woman who is also a mother who is successful is even better. Because a woman has that capability to do strategic multiple roles. Men cannot, I believe, okay? So the passion that women have at home and outside, it's very hard to find this balance. That's a woman's struggle every time. I cry on airplanes, okay? It's very hard. People go, oh, so nice, Leza. You go business trip. I cry on planes. Why? Because half my guilt, my heart is not at work, it's at home.
Yeah,
So, yes, but we do it because women, if they don't work for children, they don't work so hard. What for? Okay, I'm happy, 6K job, 5K job, I'm going home, relax, you know, and stuff like that. But because we have children, it's what drives us to our maximum capability. So for me, motherhood is the one. I did a TEDx talk recently, okay? And my TEDx talk was asked, you know what the topic it was? It was how motherhood prepared me for CEO. So in that talk, I talked to people about how I became a CEO because of motherhood. If it wasn't for motherhood, I would just be a corporate executive.
Yeah, because you have a bigger purpose.
Yes, bigger purpose, bigger drive, bigger everything.
Yeah.
So that, and also what I learned at home, dealing with my children, applies exactly to dealing with people at work. Not that they're children, but there are some things that I can apply at work. So if I don't do business, I would definitely be a full-time stay-home mother, have my own garden, self-sustainable, eat healthy food, organic, do sports, yoga every morning. Life is easy.
I'm interested in that lowest moment of your life where the 2 months, the 18 months where you went bankrupt, and then after that there's no profit and you owe your parents money, and then
Yes.
and then your mom came to you and she said that, you know, that's it, you know, she's become
Everyone said, not just my mom, everybody said.
How do you, it could have been a different route after that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So how did you at that point of moment keep yourself going, especially at lowest, especially when everyone is against you?
Everything, every
Yes,
circumstance
yes,
is against you.
yes.
You're in and out of lawsuits.
How
You know,
did
you're in
you-
and out of court, trying to organize all this settled investment, shares,
Yeah.
liquidation, everything.
And maybe you have that you had that self doubt, right? That maybe this is not for you, and how did you overcome that?
Okay, I have 4 magic words that I tell myself every day, even today, again, because you know, just because somebody runs a company, or big or small, we all have issues to deal with every day, personally as well as professionally. So if we want to last through the day, there must be something that keeps us happy. So for me, right, 2 things. Number 1, I identify the small things that keep me happy. For example, eating my favorite food, eating my favorite cake, save the rest of the day. Okay, for example, calling the person I love, my children. Okay, knowing that they're healthy. And also the last thing, that every day when I want to give up on everything because it's so tiring every day, but I tell myself these 4 words every day until today, just one more day. So every day I tell myself just one more day. And tell me, you really want to break it, that's it. Okay, you just tell yourself just one more day, and it takes you to another day, until it takes you to the day where somebody comes and give you capital funding, and that changed the game altogether. So that's how I kept myself positive. And I understand how human behave. Okay, people, investors, example, right? If you want to grow a business, you always need investment. You can never grow on your own money because too long to save the money. So you need to make investment believe in your idea. Investors don't believe in a lot of things. They don't believe on how you look, that you can run a company. They don't believe in your track records necessarily because they feel it's being fabricated. But they believe in the passion they see and feel through you when they see you. So if you have this passion, you will always recover because somebody will see this through you and will be willing to fund that passion. So if you want people to invest in you, your passion has to be alive. If you stop believing what you do, people can sense it. So I refuse to believe that my passion, okay, is weak enough, because if I reduce my passion, I will never be able to convince anyone to fund me in any way. So I told myself that I stay passionate because I've really reaped the benefit of this business. I'm pretty sure the business is going to rise again. So if people who tells me negative stuff, okay, you're not going to make it, but hell, you really went bankrupt. Sorry, I just cut them off. We're not friends anymore. We'll get back another day.
Yeah.
Right. So that's because you have to do this to yourself. The first key to actually making it to success is to eliminate negativity that's present in your network, especially when you are fragile and vulnerable. The more you let people would have power over you, that means you have no power to dictate your own path of success. If you want to own your success, then you have to own your decisions, whether it's against the current or against the standard norm, against the people who love you. Too bad, okay? You're still as stubborn as ever. And investors love it because they know you're decisive, you're determined, you're perseverance. Even if your mother tells you to quit, you tell your mother, no, I've been invested on and I'm going to make sure I'll get there to the end. So that's the people investors want. And the more they know you, they just keep on funding you.
Oh, okay. Amazing. All right. you talk about. Do you speak about leadership also in your talks and stuff like
I
that?
lecture in leadership.
Lecture in
Yeah.
leadership. Okay,
Effective communication and leadership.
I want to know your definition of a great leader, or how one can be a great leader. Make yourself, yeah.
Okay, when we say leadership, doesn't mean that you're a manager of a team, okay? Just because you don't have a team member, an employee or whatever, it doesn't mean you cannot be a leader. Leader is basically a role that people follow you in your existing network, whether your followers on social media or your physical network. Now, leadership is leaving an impact in somebody's life in your presence, but it's long-lasting in your absence. So which means, example, today I'm going to tell you something that deeply impacts you and change the way you do business. I will always remain in your minds and your thoughts for as long as you can remember. So I leave an impact in you despite my absence. So that is what leadership means, to create impact that's long-lasting in people. And that impact is not for the benefit of the leader. The leader actually impact that person for the benefit of the person. The person takes what the leader gives and change their life and therefore become better. So it's to influence their own personal journey. So leadership to me is two things. You must have the passion for power because it comes with responsibilities, okay? And you must have the passion for people because if there's no people, there's nobody to lead. Okay? So you must have these two passions, for power and for people. Yes. And not everybody again is cut off for leadership. And if people really don't want to follow you, really hate your leadership, you don't have to salvage them. You can just move on to lead someone else. But the power of leadership is so strong that you can actually influence people's decision without telling them what to do. So I did that on LinkedIn. When I got to LinkedIn after Facebook, I built, I think, 52,000 followers there. So it's all about leadership every day, leading people to be a better version of themselves.
Okay, I think we come to the end already. Any last parting words that you want to say?
Okay, I want to say two things. Okay, number one, be very patient because you must remember that success is not overnight. Success is actually the accumulative or small milestones that you collect every day. So even if today you just get one thing done, build a website, that is progression. And you need to celebrate progression because when you do, even though it means nothing to anybody else, it should mean something for your business. No business jump from level 1, from 0 to hero in one day. It takes time. And the higher you want to climb, okay, the longer time it takes. So ask yourself every day, what have I learned today? And what's the next milestone I've achieved? And just do that on a daily basis. By the end of the year, you're 365 levels higher and more lessons has been gained. And you become a different person. Now, secondly, whenever you do business or anything in your personal life, 90% is not going to be your way. It's not going to be your way. The way business works is that you know where your goal is. For example, you want to get to the number 4. There's many ways to get there. 2 plus 2, 5 minus 1, 1 plus 3. So if you try the first 2-3 times attempts and it doesn't seem to get you at your destination, there's nothing wrong with those attempts. It gives you lessons, but you need to find another solution to get there. So if somebody has done it before, it's possible to achieve. Even if nobody has done it before, if it's beyond reason, with reason, you definitely can achieve it. Now the issue that most people have is emotional. Trust me, it's not your mental capacity, it is not actually your physical body that will stop you from achieving success in business. It's actually emotional because you're emotionally attached to things, so you need to be selective what you're emotionally attached with, especially negativity that's going to come your way. People will not leave successful people alone. If you're nobody, nobody cares. But if you're a public figure doing great impact on people, doing big things, there will be naysayers. There will be people who come and tell you that, hey, basically, you're not good and being negative, trying to break your spirit. And if you let them have control over you, then you cannot be an entrepreneur anyway. So when it comes to negativity, I want to tell people, be bold to decide who stays in your circle. And honestly, if you complain about bankruptcy or losses or whatever, in life, it doesn't matter what happened to you, but what matters is who you become at the end. In business, there's no lose. You either win or you learn. That's it. Okay, so appreciate the lessons that come with your failures because there are many people who wish they have no wisdom. That's my advice.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much for
Thank you so much.
for everything that you have shared today. I think I myself learned a lot.
Yes.
And may Allah reward you for everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So bye.